So 3i Infrastructure is a listed investment trust. It provides public market investors with access to a portfolio of private infrastructure businesses. 3i Infrastructure is large. The portfolio is about £4 billion. We're a constituent of the FTSE 250 index, but we're near the top of that index, so just outside the FTSE 100. In terms of return objectives, our objective is to deliver 8 to 10% per annum to shareholders, and we've met or exceeded that target every year over the last decade. And within that return objective, we also have a progressive dividend policy, so there is a dividend income to shareholders, and we look to grow that ahead of inflation every year. So we invest in companies, so real businesses with employees, rather than just concessions or projects, so limited life infrastructure. We look for resilient businesses with downside protection. We take majority control stakes, so these are companies we own, we control them. It's very engaged and active asset management. We back and build exceptional management teams, and we typically have those management teams investing alongside 3i Infrastructure, so putting their own money into the company as well, so they're incentivized to grow it. And we structure the portfolio along long-term megatrends, so we're looking for businesses that are backed by sort of long-term demand drivers, so that would grow well across the economic cycle. And the way that the portfolio performed during COVID, which performed very well, is a good example of how that works out. Yes, so we invest in niche businesses exposed to these megatrends. So some examples on the energy transition megatrend. We invest in a couple of businesses that sort of generate energy. So there's a business called Infinis that's generating electricity from landfill gas and is now rolling out solar power and indeed battery storage on some of the landfill sites that it's operating on. We've got a business called Future Biogas that's generating gas, so biogas through anaerobic digestion. So that's a growing business. But then we've got some interesting niche businesses where they're not generating the energy themselves, but they're linked to the energy transition. We've got a business called SFACT, which is a vessels business, a shipping company, and that has a fleet of vessels supporting the offshore wind farm industry, for example. So maintenance engineers maintaining the wind turbines live on these vessels, but SFACT owns and operates the vessels. So you're not exposed to buying a wind farm, you're not exposed to the power price, but you're linked to the growth of offshore wind. And we have another business called Jules that is exposed to the energy transition in the Netherlands, building sort of mini grids for companies for industrial parks, for example. So that's the energy transition. That's one of the main megatrends that we see for the next, decade or two. Then we've got the digitalization megatrend, which is obviously gathering pace at the moment with AI being a new driver there. We've got businesses connecting consumers, connecting companies and industries, and connecting continents and countries. So we've got a business in Germany called DNSNet, which is a fiber to the home business. So it's in the Berlin area. We've got a business called TampNet that is operating for largely businesses operating offshore. They can get their internet connectivity from TampNet. And then we've got a business called Flag, the fiber link around the globe, which connects countries and continents. So it'd be national telecoms companies or indeed people like Google and Netflix and so on, large hyperscalers. Our largest company is a business called TCR, which is involved in renewing essential infrastructure in airports, so the ground handling equipment, and it's linked to this sort of renewing essential infrastructure and indeed the energy transition, because you've got all the equipment that moves but isn't a plane, so everything that's required for the plane to move, and there's a general sort of journey of that equipment becoming electrified, so moving away from diesel power to electrification. And as this equipment ages and gets replaced, that's often the time for a company to make a decision to lease that equipment rather than buying it themselves, and that's where TCR comes in.